Welcome back to another episode, guys, and happy 4th of July weekend coming up. And what I want to talk about today was my favorite genre of film, and that being horror films. But there's one, particular thing about horror films that I love, and those are zombies. I love me some zombie films. So what I want to do today was pull out all my zombie movies that I have and talk about them just a little bit, not too much, guys, but to show you guys exactly what I have. Now, the one thing I'm going to tell you is I do have a lot of the Walking Dead seasons on Blu-ray. I'm not pulling those out today. We're not talking television series. We're just going to talk feature films. So, right off the bat, the first two sets I'm going to show you guys are ones that I've already done videos on, so I'm not going to talk about them too much, but I'm just going to get through these first two real quick. The Resident Evil 4K Ultra HD box set. You guys know I've done two videos on this. Love this set. Love this franchise. Was so happy to get this. Couldn't be more thrilled with this set. Resident Evil franchise, it's great, guys. It really, really is. Now, the second thing I have is this bad boy here that I got late last year. Thrilled to have it. Dawn of the Dead 4K Ultra HD box set. This is an import from the UK. Guys, it looks good. It really does. It looks great. I love this box set. There's so many goodies included within this box set. There's a hardcover, book showing us like artwork and everything for the film. There's again, a novel about of the film itself. Just love it. Absolutely thrilled to have this one, guys. Now, let's talk about some films that you guys haven't seen that I have not gone in depth about. First two that I have are, let's go right for the the DVD. Two films that I have on DVD. These are only two DVDs that I'm going to show you guys. Dead Rising Endgame and Dead Rising Watchtower. Based on the Dead Rising, games that are on the Xbox. But, guys, they're fun. They're fun. You can't take them serious, guys. They're based on a video game. But for what they are, they're not bad at all. These are definitely worth picking up. They're not expensive either, guys. They're not. And they're good. They're not bad at all. I would say for me, I think the second one, which would be Endgame, is the better of the two films. But again, I like both of these. I like them a lot. Unfortunately, only Endgame, I believe, got a Blu-ray release in the US. Watchtower did not get a release on Blu-ray. That's why I decided, I'm just going to have them both on DVD. I'm not going to have one on Blu-ray and one on DVD. So, but I love both those films. They're a lot of fun. Now, let's get to the Blu-rays. Warm Bodies. It's a good film, guys. I do. It definitely has a romance element to it. And it's a lot of fun. It is. I would definitely say, with this film, Nicholas Hoult, he's charming. As a zombie who's like starting, come to life again. His heart starts beating again as soon as he, meets Teresa Palmer. He falls head over heels for, but again, he can't talk, a lot, but eventually things start coming along and the zombies get, start to come back to life in this. So it's a lot of fun, guys. It is. And it's definitely, there are some gory shots within this film. Definitely worth checking out. Now here's one that I had to put in this pile. Yes, I know, some people will call it a zombie movie. I don't think it's not really a zombie film, guys. Zombie elements are there. But as far as true, how zombies are, this is not. But I love this film so much. Would love to get a 4K release, and that's World War Z starring Brad Pitt. Love this film. Yes, they're not your, true to life, true to form zombies. It's what you're used to. But man, they're great. I love it. I love this film. I would love to get a 4K release. I would love for it to get a sequel. Will it? Who knows, guys? Maybe someday. You never know. But World War Z is definitely one that is worth checking out. You can't beat it, guys. If you've never seen it, do yourself a favor. It's not expensive. Pick it up. You will not be disappointed. Just know that it's not your traditional, zombie film. But you can't go wrong with it, guys. It's really good. Now, here are two that I have shown in another video. I still have to get these on 4K because I will upgrade these at some point. And that's Zombieland and Zombieland Double Tap. Zombieland is an instant classic. Double Tap, I think, can get there at some point. It's good. It's not as good as the first one, but it's definitely a very solid sequel to the original. But the original is just such a classic already at this point. It really is. Absolutely love both these films. The Dead. This is one of those films. The ending to this film is just, it's one of those things like, it's basically up to interpretation. What happened? What is going to happen to the characters. But it's really good. The second one, which I will show you guys in the pile here, is good, but definitely not as good as the first one. This is a solid, from the Ford brothers. They did really good for their first two films to put out two, really good zombie films. Definitely knocked it out. Like I said, the second one's a little bit lesser, but the first one is definitely worth checking out. This one takes place, in Africa, and just the setting and the scenery, it's done really well, and the zombies look fantastic. I'll show you guys the back right here. The zombies look really good, really, really good in this film. Definitely worth checking out if you haven't seen it. Now, the next one is a classic, is the one that got me into zombie films. Can't say enough about it. Absolutely love it. Never get tired of it. It's the Criterion Collection release of Night of the Living Dead, 4K restoration. What more is there to say, guys? It's been released so many times. VHS, Laserdisc, DVD, Blu-ray. It's a classic. It absolutely is. It's why we see zombies the way we see them today. Hands down. George Romero, he made the traditional zombie for today what they are because of films like this. And you can't deny that. Between this and Dawn of the Dead, you cannot deny why the zombies look how they look today. It's incredible. It's just a classic film, and look at the image on the front. There's Ben. There's Barbara. Iconic. Oh, they're coming to get you, Barbara. Just absolutely, this film, I can't say enough about it, guys. And for anybody who has not seen, let's go ahead and take a look. I'm going to take this out real fast out of the case. Okay? Look at the images on the front here, guys. As things start falling out on me. You know how we do it here. Always things fall out on this channel. Okay? Well, let's go ahead and take a look. There we go. Slipped on out. There's a disc on it. 2-disc set. But I want to take this one out. I wanted to show you guys the poster that comes with this. On the back, sometimes with the Criterions, you get like a little book, booklet, nice, decent sized booklet talking about the film, how it was made. This just, the back of this poster, the credits, the cast, about the film itself. But look at this poster. I mean, look at this. I love it. What a great, great image from the film. I would love to put that up, like a bigger size poster would be great. But that's just a great, great image. Absolutely love it. I had to show you guys that one. Now, speaking of Mr. George A. Romero, the next film that we have is one that I saw in the theater. It's the only George Romero film I've ever seen in a theater. And, because when the other ones came out, whether it be, obviously with Night or Dawn or even Day. With Day, I was a little bit too young. Dawn, I was just born when Dawn came out. So that was obviously not in, not going to happen. But with Day, I was way too young yet to see that. But I did get it, when Land of the Dead came out, I was there day one for a matinee. Just had to see it. And, is it as good as the original, as the first, the first three? It's not as good, as Night, Dawn and Day. But still, it's not bad, guys. It's not bad. It's a good George Romero zombie film. You will not be disappointed. I'll put it that way. You will not be disappointed with this film. Just realize that, if you're going with that original trilogy, it's not going to live up to that. But if you go in realizing, it's a good, after being away from it for so long for Romero, this was a solid comeback to the zombie genre. So Land of the Dead, worth checking out, guys. Now here's one, 4K Ultra HD. It's Hot Fuzz, World's End. Not zombie films, but this bad boy right here, Shaun of the Dead. Love it. When this came out originally, it was a limited release, basically, here in the U.S. when it came out. And I was there. I went in the morning to go see this film. I think I went for like a 10 o'clock in the morning showing for that. And there wasn't a lot of people in there. I might maybe 9, 10 people tops. I mean, granted, it was early showing. But when I first saw this film, I liked it. I did. I thought it was fantastic when I first saw it. But once I saw it again, maybe it was just the fact that I saw it early in the morning. But when I got a chance, got it, on DVD, because it's something that I've gotten on DVD, and now, obviously Blu-ray, then now the 4K. But it's a film that every time I see it, I love it even more. I just love it every single time I see it. But it was definitely a film that I had to see twice. I liked it a lot. Thought it was fantastic the first time. But by the second viewing, blew my socks off. It was fantastic. Could not get enough of Shaun of the Dead. But like I say, guys, early in the morning, 10 o'clock showing, come on. I'm a little too tired. I was a little too tired on a Saturday to go see it. But it was just fantastic. Absolutely love it. I had to get it on Ultra HD 4K. Now, going from Shaun of the Dead down to the remake of Day of the Dead. What can I say, guys? It's not the greatest. It's not. I think I paid like $5, and that's about what this film would probably get, if that. But because it had, kind of like a remake to the original, I had to get it. Any kind of thing with zombie films, I had to pick it up. It's not terrible. It's just you're not going to want to pay a fortune for it. Put it that way. So, but the one thing is Ving Rhames is in this, just like he's in the Dawn remake, which I will get to right now, guys, because I love this. Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead. Zack Snyder made... Why do I love this? Because Zack Snyder made this his own. The name and the fact that it's in a mall, and it has zombies, that is the only thing that has any similarity to George Romero's classic. Fast-moving zombies, and holy crap, are they freaking scary. Put it that way. There are so many scenes... I think up to this point, I hadn't really seen a zombie film that had fast-moving zombies in it. But man, they are terrifying. Zack Snyder definitely knows how to do it when it comes to this kind of film. He definitely knows what to do. Say what you will about Army of the Dead, but which I don't think is a bad film. But Dawn is definitely, he came shining through with this film. He made, like I said, he made it his own in name and in a mall, and that's it. And he was able, to do it that way. But they look fantastic, guys. The zombies look freaking amazing in this film. The first time you see them, just frightening, absolutely frightening. Now here we go. It's The Dead 2. This is the sequel to The Dead from the Ford brothers. This one takes place in India. Not as good as the first one, but still not bad. Absolutely not bad. Traditional, slow-moving zombies, but when they gather around you, especially there's a scene in the first one, when they gather around you, the end is probably going to be near for you, unless somehow you can get away. But, one is survivable. Once you get a whole horde of them, you're done. That's it. But it's definitely not a bad film. It's good. It's just not it's not as solid as the first one, but it's still a really good film. Now, here's one that definitely flies under the radar for some people, and that's Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies. This was a blast. It was. This is a film, like I said, a very underrated zombie film. Lily James is in this, and I love Lily James. I think she's fantastic in the films that I've seen her in. And, Matt Smith is in this as well. Lena Headey is in this as well. It's a really good cast of actors and actresses, and it's fun. It really, to take... Pride and Prejudice and add zombies to it, so it has it just hits it just right, guys. There's some comedy to it. It's done well. It really is. For something that could be really corny, it's done pretty darn well. So this is one to definitely check out. And again, one that is not expensive at all. Now, talk about remakes. Tom Savini remade Night of the Living Dead. Now, I want to get it right, guys. I believe it was 1990. When this came out. I want to say it was 1990. And I'm telling you, out of any remake, you could tell that Tom Savini studied under George Romero, working with Romero, because what he did with this film, he changed some things, towards the end of the film. But what he changes does not ruin the film at all. He makes it a little bit of his own, but definitely keeps traditional with, what Romero had in mind. I love it. This is an umbrella release. It did get a release here in the U.S., but that was like a limited edition to get, and unless you went through it's very hard to get. Put it that way at this point. There's not many copies that were made, but this is just it's region free, so it's not you have absolutely no problem. You actually got this right through regular Amazon here in the U.S., but it is an Australian release. But it's fantastic, guys. It is. Absolutely love it. And nice disc artwork right here. The zombies heading up towards the farmhouse. But it does have reversible artwork. But I really kind of like this artwork. So that's the one I went with. For some reason, I really love that image on the front. So I've always gone with that one. But this is a solid. And I'm talking solid. And guys, this is one that is a no-brainer. It's absolutely a no-brainer to have this in your collection. If you don't have this in your collection, it's not a zombie collection. I'll put it that way. You cannot go wrong with this one. Tom Savini's remake of Night of the Living Dead. All right, guys, we're getting there. Now, here's one. This was George Romero's last foray into zombie films. And unfortunately, it's Survival of the Dead. That's all I can say. It's Survival of the Dead. Is it an absolute abomination? I don't think so. Some people I know do feel that it is. It's not a great film by any stretch of the imagination. I actually saw this before I picked up and bought it, but I still went and bought it just because it was Romero. But it's just one of those films that there's things that could have worked, but just not enough. Not enough is definitely the lesser of Romero's zombie films, hands down. No pun intended, guys. But I mean, if you're a Romero fan, then you should have this in your collection. Otherwise, it's probably one you could probably skip. But still, it's I've seen a lot worse. Believe me, I've seen a lot worse zombie films. So this is definitely not the worst. Now, before Survival, Mr. Romero gave us Diary of the Dead. Now, this was ahead of its time, because this is basically taking almost using the idea of social media, videotaping the newscast, videotaping the zombie outbreak and everything, as it's happening. And now it's kind of you see these kind of things in other films, but it was actually ahead of its time for what Romero was trying to do. His idea was there. Was it executed perfectly? No. But what he had was a really, really solid idea that just here and there just didn't hit all the right marks. But, like I said, the idea was awesome. Absolutely awesome. And I really, it's definitely, it's really good. It's better, way better than Survival. Like I said, there's so many things that it just, when you watch it, it kind of you start watching, you're like, he could have hit the mark. Just if he'd just done this instead of this, this film could have been a classic. I mean, and I know right there it's a masterpiece. It's pretty darn good, guys. It is. For what he was trying to accomplish ahead of its time, this is definitely a really good zombie film. So, Diary of the Dead, George Romero. Now, as you guys can see, we're almost done with the Romero films, but there's only one remaining. Which one could it be, guys? We've seen night, we've seen dawn, so we must see day. There's Bub on the front there holding his gun. Now this is this, to me, this is still the lesser of the first three. This is just my opinion. But I will say that it has definitely grown on me over time. This is always one of those films I just had to have because it was a Romero film. But it was never my favorite. But after watching it and watching it and watching it, it's definitely grown on me. I think one of the problems is when you go from Dawn is just done so perfectly that it's hard to follow up when you go from this incredible, this setting in this mall to, just basically being underground for 99% of the film. But over time, it does grow on you. Like, even critically, this film was panned when it first came out, but it's grown and it's gotten more, critical, praise over years, and it deservingly does. It's definitely a better film, but it's one you have to see over and over and over again to truly appreciate it. Great shot of the bub right there. Let's see if this one has reversible. Yeah, this one does have reversible artwork as well. This is a Scream Factory release. That's the original poster right there. So I kind of like that image, the Scream Factory original artwork. Kind of like that one, guys. So that is done for the Romero films. Now, finally, the final two. One of these I've already done a video on, but the first one I have not, and that is Train to Busan. There's not much that can be said, guys. There's not. Let me go ahead. I have this in a protective case because this is a steelbook. Not a 4K. This is just a standard Blu-ray. But this image is just incredible. I love this image on this. The back, a little bit of a hint of what could, how the film ends. But, on the inside, guys, look at that. Just fantastic, guys. Absolutely fantastic. Oh, it has like a green hint to it, like a tint that comes out. Absolutely love it. Let's go ahead and see. There's an image on the other side right there. You guys, hopefully you guys can see. It might be a little bit of a glare. But hopefully you guys can make that out. But Train to Busan, not much that can be said about it, guys. If you're watching this video, then you must be a zombie fan. And if you're a zombie fan, you know about Train to Busan. It's fantastic. This is 10 out of 10. There's not many zombie films that are going to hold the candle to it. When it comes to, obviously Romero, but this is fantastic. There's no knock I can put against this film. Absolutely love it. It's fantastic. This image is within the film itself, and it's great. I mean, there are characters within the film that you can't stand. You cannot stand at the beginning. But they redeem themselves, and that's a mark of a great zombie film, or any kind of film, is a character that they find that redemption, finds a chance to really, go from an unlikable character to a character you don't want to see anything happen to because you've invested that much into them at that point. But this is just one of those films that is fantastic. The father, which is right here, this is the image of the main character, the father within the film, and he goes from a guy who's really not willing to do much, but now, he rises to the occasion. He does. And it's a fantastic film. Not expensive for the steelbook either. It's not expensive at all. You can still pick it up. Definitely worth checking out, guys. Train to Busan. You cannot go wrong. And finally, Peninsula. Again, some people don't like this film. I thought it was good. Why? Because coming from Peninsula is the sequel to Train to Busan. But I already knew going into this film, I had heard all the, people knocking this film, saying it wasn't as good. So I kind of had an idea of already what to expect. My expectations were lowered, so I was not, when I saw it, I was pleasantly surprised. Because I knew it wasn't going to be as good as Busan, but it was still a solid, it was fun. It was fun. It looks beautiful in 4K. Absolutely looks beautiful in 4K. But it's just one of those films that the mark is raised, the bar is raised so high with Train to Busan that there was no way possible that this was even going to live up to what that one is. So for me, looking at it as a separate entity in its own, I think it's good. I really do. I have a lot of fun with this film. But yeah, guys, those are all the zombie films that I have in my collection. Hope you guys enjoyed this little trip, checking out all these films. I love zombie films. I do. That's my favorite of the horror genre. Zombie films are where it's at for me. Absolutely love it. But yeah, guys, like, subscribe, and comment if you get a chance, and I'll catch you guys in another video. Take care.